music for me, like, yeah, it is a way of life. It relaxes me, it amps me up, it inspires me, it excites me. Like, there's all sorts of different aspects of the emotions I get, and I'd say that a lot of my emotions in my life are drawn from music because I listen to it and I love it so much. Like, hip-hop aside as well, I again do a lot of other different musics, as much as I pretty much am really all about expressing hip-hop myself, you know. So, yeah.
Who is Greeley? If you don't know by now, you're about to find out. He's one of the most supportive and respected people in the scene. He's got connections with nearly every rapper in the country, and he's responsible for giving a lot of rappers in this country a platform to put their music out. This is his story so far. Greeley grew up in Kingston, Tasmania. He's had a strong passion for hip-hop, beatboxing and graffiti ever since he can remember. Even when he was in primary school, he seemed to gravitate towards the hip-hop culture.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about Hobart.
It's an interesting city. It's about like, I think it's 220,000 population, so it's a very small town still, but somewhat of a city. But yeah, I grew up down there and there's not too much to do, so I think hip-hop was a perfect answer for growing up, you know what I mean?
Although he never focused much on school, at just 13 years old he got expelled from school when asked to leave. He then got sent to go live with his dad for a while, in Texas, which is a state in America. He was over there for a few years. He even went to school and started freestyling other kids. Although it never worked out for him over there, he ended up moving back to Tasmania. He states that moving to America made him fall even more in love with Australian hip-hop and made him miss home. Some of the first Australian music he discovered was the XBX Crew, Certified Wires, Taunts and Billy Bunk.
Who were the early Australian influences on you?
Mainly like SBX,
Yeah.
all certified. Crossbred, After Hours.
Crossbred? All that sort of shit? Fuck, I loved Crossbred back then.
Yeah.
When he got back to Tasmania, he said that he struggled for a while, living on the streets until he got back onto his feet. He would then go to local hip-hop events. Even though he was underage, he would just hang out the front and wait for them to come out just to meet them or jump in a cypher. He would eventually gain their respect. He even met someone there that gave him a room to rent. This house was full of other battle rappers and people who were making music, so they were all in it together working for the same goal.
I started entering the freestyle battles when I was about 16 or 17, and this is just after Justice won Scribble Jam.
Yeah.
And I just got obsessed with freestyle battles. I was just like fucking watching them religiously, just drinking goon with my friends, just freestyle, battle. And because, you know, they'd have this one pub that put up $100 prize for a freestyle battle once a month.
He was making some of his own music, but he never put his full attention into it. He was more focused on the battle scene, although he was still a part of two hip-hop groups, the Pissed Apostles and Paralytic Poets. He was a big fan of 360, Justice and Anecdote at the time. Not many people in Tasmania were doing battles at the time, so he started to organise them at his local skate park. He then got the attention from Got Beef. He got invited to some main event battles alongside the likes of Prime, Purpose, 360 and Cursor.
Back in January, man. Fucking ignorant cunts, boys. Also another arrogant fan hitting him up on Facebook like, hey, do you want to battle me, Ferg? He thought I was talking shit and asked if I was down for betting $1,000, and when I agreed, he was like, oh, I don't think it's going to be cool with my manager, man.
He was quickly becoming respected in the battle scene, helping organising a lot of events. He also managed to battle the likes of 360 and Cursor. One thing Greeley was always super passionate about was bringing the Tasmanian hip-hop scene together. He was always hosting open mic nights and rap battles. All Greeley's hard work behind the scenes was starting to pay off. He got approached to open up Australia's leg of Grind Time Now, which hosted some of the biggest battles in the world. They would fly in battle rappers from all over the world. Greeley also had a massive hand in helping organise Australia's biggest battle, Cursor vs 360. He will forever be known as one of the best battle rappers to come out of Australia. The older he got less passionate about battle rapping and said that he would rather organise the events and let another young guy take his place. Now it was time for Greeley to start to work on his own music career and also do what he's most passionate about, to promote the Tasmanian hip-hop scene. He then would go on to start THC TV, which nearly has 20,000 subscribers on YouTube, which also stands for Tasmanian Hip Hop Collective. He wanted to use this platform for artists who didn't have the equipment to record their music videos or tracks. So far, it's been super successful, not only for the Tasmanian hip hop scene, but for the Australian hip hop scene as a whole. Some of the artists that have been featured on THC TV so far have been Complete, Nerve, Wombat, Monksy and Kane, just to name a few.
Well, THC was like originally, it was Taz Hip Hop Collective, and it was quite an active thing, let's say 10 years ago, 10 plus, and originally it was kind of founded by guys like Medusa, DJ Grotesque,
DJ Dameser, Crixus. Crixus was one of like the first hip hop artists to kind of come out on Tassie. He was on Culture of Kings back in the day, and the Caddy. There was a few other guys, Mately. There's too many names to remember, but that was quite an active thing when I was a kid, and as everyone does, they got older and people grow up and have kids and stuff like that, and it kind of died down. And so I thought, you know, especially with spending the last few years over in the mainland and travelling quite a lot, there's a lot of a new generation of hip-hop down there that don't have any local scene, or they haven't been reached out to by the guys down there, and there's a few people doing their different things, so I really wanted to bring everyone together. And so that I've been saying that for 3 months, and like every hip-hop head I run into in Hobart, I'd be like, hey bro, you want to rep THC and be back a part of this and try and get, you know, because I meet so many kids that are like want to be rappers, they just want to express themselves.
He was putting in so much work behind the scenes, he only had one album out, titled Apple Isle Child. The album did good numbers, but not like he would have hoped. He came to a point where it was time for him to take music a lot more seriously. He was now starting to drop tracks a lot more consistently and starting to build a bigger fan base. Some of his tracks were starting to pick up hundreds and thousands of streams, tracks like G'day 2, Legendary and Ready Now. He then dropped his second studio album titled Keep It Reals. This album would allow him to go on a small tour and even support the likes of Complete and Cursor, which shows just how much respect he has in the scene. As he was travelling around the country touring his own shows and doing support acts, he learnt a lot from other artists on how to record properly and different ways of doing things, which made him go even harder with the music. Unfortunately for Greeley, when he was younger he was involved in an altercation. He ended up having to do jail time over the incident. This is another massive reason why I respect Greeley so much. Instead of turning this into a negative, he chose to turn it into a positive. He ended up writing a whole album while in prison. He did this by using an old PlayStation to listen to the beats. He also met another inmate while he was in there. He helped him write and record tracks once it got out. He now goes by the name Kane and has hundreds and thousands of views on YouTube.
Yeah, but that's like as soon as I knew that I was doing time, I was like, I'm going to flip this on its fucking head.
Yeah,
like I'm going to use every bit out of it. You know, they'll run me down in the paper like rapper goes to jail for his hip hop hit and like.
Once he got out, he recorded the track Square One, which is one of his biggest songs to date. He then headed to Perth and recorded most of his album, Wisdom, in just 3 days, with help from rapper Cortex. I personally think this is his best album to date, as a lot of the topics hit home to a lot of Aussies. While Greeley was incarcerated, another person that would come visit him was comedian Lewis Spears. He always credits Greeley for helping him start his comedy career. The tables would eventually turn, and Lewis convinced Greeley to go on his own comedy run and open up for him.
Comedy for me is like therapy, and we all need therapy in some way. Some people do group counselling, some people do like yoga and meditation for their therapy. Lewis picks on people on the internet for his therapy. And me, I smoke bongs. Yeah? We got any stoners in the house tonight?
Since he was released from prison, his music career seemed to blossom. And like I said, he was dropping tracks more consistently and building a bigger fan base. Then in 2021, he dropped his biggest album yet and had some massive features. Some of those features were Nerve, Wombat, Dundee and Complete, just to name a few. The album was received well, and tracks like G'day 3, Now or Never 2 and Cloud did massive numbers. Greeley has now been in this game for over a decade. He's gone from being a battle rapper to holding his own on a track with some of the best artists in the country. Musically, I think Greeley has so much more to offer, and I think his music career is just beginning. But also, what Greeley has managed to do for the Australian hip-hop scene is one of the reasons why it's thriving at the moment. You would struggle to find a rapper in this country that doesn't respect what Greeley's done for the scene. He's had some sort of influences in most rappers' careers, from Husky to Cursor to Complete to Wombat, just to name a few. Not even to mention the amount of work Greeley put in behind the scenes that we don't even know about. He's respected by all sides of the country, from Adelaide to Perth to Brisbane. Greeley has literally dedicated his whole life in making sure the scene flourishes. He's always put other people before him, and I hope that his music career is just taking off. This has been the story so far by Desired Oz Rap.
Yo!
Gun on my march down, better keep an eye on the punch mix. So break a couple cups and dropping off and then bust shit. Slipping something in it and start changing the subject. And take turns, run amok to consider the fuckhead. But mate, I've been around, take him out to clean it out. Riding in my van, call myself a fucking demon now. We've been learning every road that we were speeding down and still be heading south, even when we're out and leaving town. Done as flossing as if you haven't noticed it. I'm still from hose, I kill the flow, still convinced of bogues and shit. Only moment is my homie owns a local tip composer hit to make you choke on it before the gun is lit.
Yeah!
8 fingers. Little fake bitches may witness a rage if it cost me when the day's finished. I ain't hidden, but these days it seems I'm anger ridden. I can stand to listen till I see the standards risen. Man, I'll kick him till I make him see the other side and base it on the track. I show these cunts on how I'm running like. Know it's done this time, best to step to run a hide. Best to keep your mum, man, fucking lock the door inside. I don't know, I'm just talking shit, I'm snoring, kinda boring. Maybe we'll stop. Yeah, smoke a ciggy, let's stop. Boom! Oh, yeah!